KissFAQ channel members, here's an exclusive early access to a fresh demo bite. What is a demo bite? It's a shorter demo story that doesn't have all the material, sonic or written, available for a lengthy full-featured treatment. That said, all Kiss and related songs are worthy of discussion. The material is still being incorporated into an updated print publication, so let's nibble on Ace Frehley's Two Sides of the Coin, released on Kiss's Unmasked album in 1980. This demo bite needs a bit of a disclaimer. Since the Ace book is still a work in progress, there'll be additional material about the song published in that work which doesn't appear here. A Canadian press release suggested that the Unmasked album delivered hard, burning vocals, colorful instrumentation and arrangements, and the flash and flare so longer associated with this dynamic band. There were certainly elements of that description present in this song. Another press release described it as a power rock song, but the subject matter is obvious, in essence a reflection that much of life is a game of chance that comes down to the vagaries of a toss of a coin. It was typical Frehley deadpan humor. While a guitar-driven song about time-honored girl problems might not be breaking any new ground, Ace's increase in confidence as both songwriter and vocalist was evident during this song's creative process. Two Sides of the Coin was one of 4 demos Ace brought to the Unmasked album sessions, following on from the 5 he'd brought to the previous album sessions in 1979. As had been the case then, 3 of Ace's songs made the album. It is clear from this growing amount of material he was contributing that Ace had benefited most from the solo album Diversion of 1978, both in terms of creativity and confidence. He was also a beneficiary of Gene's Hollywood diversions and Peter's departure from the band. This song was very fully formed at the demo stage and needed very little work to transform it into the release version. Rough mixes of the song, along with Torpedo Girl, were completed at North Lake Studios on January the 4th, so the demo had probably been recorded shortly prior. As was the case with Torpedo Girl, Ace's friends, Chris Cassone and Eddie Solon, engineered the sessions. The 4/4 signature demo starts and goes straight into the vocal verse without any substantive musical preamble. A 4-measure or 15-second instrumental intro was added to the final version, which echoes the verse music, though a dynamic hard start with a guitar, and then guitar and drum, was left in place. It's a minor arrangement refinement. The demo has much more of Ace's natural Bronx drawl present, with him lazily dragging out certain words, ending syllables in his laid-back vocal style. Lyrically and stylistically, little changed for the song's first verse. The musical transition between verse and pre-chorus break gets refined on the album. On the demo it's a bit awkward and jagged, and it may be a matter that the drum rolls are not quite syncing with the guitars. They're a bit too flashy on the demo for a studio recording versus a live performance where the adrenaline might take over with all the musicians locked in a groove. In the far more simpler form on the final version, the result is far more smooth and less cluttered. The drum beat simply shifts to more basic timekeeping without the rolls, and Ace simplifies the guitar riff around it. The chorus is identical, as is the breath the song takes after the final vocal before diving into the second verse. After the second chorus and Ace's Choose One call-out, "Choose one!" the demo heads into the instrumental break section based on the jangly picking he'd originally recorded in the Backstage Pass demo the previous year. There it had more of an acoustic flavor initially, reminiscent of the rock bottom intro. It quickly built to feature a selection of Anton's tasty drum fills. As the section progressed, it built with electric guitars fading in until reaching the crescendo, leading back into an additional breathing space prior to another repetition of the chorus. For the 1980 demo incorporation, Ace played the basic guitar pattern over a more restrained drum counterpoint. It feels almost as if he was deliberately leaving the section as a bed for a possible solo. As a result, it feels incomplete compared with the previous year's iteration. In the studio, it would be transformed, or perhaps fully realized. The break section following the second solo was recycled from the rejected Backstage Pass demo from the previous year. Remaining unused are the building electric chordings as the break ends before the arrangement returns to a further repetition of the verse. Clearly on the 1980 demo, the break section serves a similar purpose. On the final version, elements of both demos are combined and refined, allowing the drumming to feature. Interestingly, that makes any lead guitars, in the form of a solo, unnecessary and superfluous. A second guitar provides a dynamic contrast locked in with the drums, though the ending crescendo is reduced in its dynamics. Following the third chorus, both demo and final version fade out over a fourth chorus repetition. No Ace songs made the US singles or most market B-sides in 1980. However, in Australia, the song was used as the flip side for the briefly released third single, Is That You?, issued during the group's visit to the country. Cashbox identified the song as one of the album's slicker-than-slick pop songs, and that's reasonably fair as an observation, though the New York Daily News noted that the song was more refined and dynamic and hits closer to the mark. The Boston Globe pegged the song as one of the album's standouts. Two Sides of the Coin wasn't performed live during the Unmasked tour, and it wouldn't be until Ace's solo years that it would be teased. Oddly, this song would be the Unmasked album's sole representative on the American version of the Greatest Kiss compilation released in April 1997. During Ace's Kiss Crusade appearances in 2018, he dusted off the song for his second outdoor show. Ace and his band did pretty well with it, but judge that for yourself.
Okay, this one I haven't done ever live. So hold on to that.
Dark light.
same thing on both sides.